I chose today's topic of, I guess, just making new friends as an adult and also the concept of what that looks like, because I feel like it's been something that is relevant to me in the last probably year or so. Prior to this, I really was that person that it was like no new friends, and not with the intention of I did not want any new friends. It just so happened to be that way. Everybody that was in my life had been a part of my life for 5, 10, 15 years, and that's just what it was. But a lot of changes have also happened in the last however many years, just career changes, relationship changes, just a lot more into spirituality, changing states twice. So I guess just as life goes on, things change. And sometimes it doesn't always feel so great because we are creatures of habit. So there are certain moments that I look back at certain dynamics and relationships and it's like, oh, that's so unfortunate. It almost feels that way. But on the other end, I am and have always been a very strong believer in what's meant will happen. And this is just what it is. And so you can only look back and say, "So what does this mean? Or what does my future look like?" As adults, I've noticed that I've heard and seen a lot of people struggle with making new friends. And I really think it's naturally because as we get older, we have so many more life experiences that kind of put us in a position where we are a lot more guarded than historically we have been. And also the way that our life is. I think when we're younger, we tend to get out more and experience life and do different things, or maybe you're in school, whether that be high school, college, you know what I mean? So you're used to being around a set group of people, so you naturally take to whoever's around you. As we get older, so many other factors start to play a part. You have your career that looks different for some people. Some people are working 40 hours a week. Some people are not. I know the industry that I've been for the last couple of years, it is absolutely 60 plus hours a week. And there's children. I don't have children. There is marriage, there's businesses, and all sorts of other things. And it really does play a role in what that looks like for all of us. But I just want to highlight the positive side of being in a place where you do have to start over. I know we're creatures of habit, but it can really be a good thing. So they say that supposedly scientifically, we become a new person every 7 to 10 years. And I genuinely feel like that it makes sense that you sometimes will maintain certain relationships. And I think that's a beautiful thing, but that a lot of people in your life will not be there for 50, 60 years. So when you become a new person, I think that the beauty in it and the silver lining is that it opens up the door for you to have the option to meet new people that reflect and represent who you are now. Because if you've made friends that are middle school or in high school, you didn't have a clue who you were. You probably also didn't know who you were in your early 20s. You're 21 years old, you were still trying to figure it out. So for me, I'm 30, and I can absolutely say I fully feel like I'm a very different person now than I was 10 years ago. So, what does that look like? Basically, going through that process of finding relationships that reflect you. I think that it a bit in large part it is just a acknowledging that a sense of community is important. I know how things are these days. Everybody wants to feel like, oh, they don't need anyone, they don't need anything. It's all just about fast pace and money. But having a sense of community does in large part literally play a large impact on our mental health and our happiness. So I really don't want us to ever discredit that and make it seem like all the other things are important, but friendships are not. They are just as important as any other area of life. And I think that in order to find that, I think it's just a matter of once you decide who the new version of you is now, all you have to do is open yourself up to meeting people who are like minded. So, what if you picked up a poetry habit? Go to poetry slams and meet some people who are there. If you've started into a fitness journey where historically you haven't, be bold enough to speak to someone at the gym, maybe. Say hi, spark up a conversation in your Pilates class. If you are on seminars, doing certain seminars, or if you like certain authors and they're doing a book tour, those are people who are interested in some of the same things that you're interested in. So I think it's not as hard as what we make it. It's just a matter of, are you going to make the attempt to connect with the people who you would likely connect with at this point in life? Let's see. I think shifting your perspective. Rejection, I think, is a big thing for a lot of people, just assuming the worst, but that is just all about your mindset. If you don't really know what's going to happen, all you can do is assume. And naturally, it makes sense. We tend to make assumptions. But here's my thing: if you don't really know what's gonna happen, why assume the worst? Just go ahead and assume the best. You really don't know. So if you don't have a clue, you may as well pick the option that will likely best suit your mental health and the goals that you're rooting for. So instead of assuming, oh, this person may not like me, this could go like this friendship could end just because you've had other friendships that ended, you actually don't know. So just go ahead and assume the best. And even if it doesn't work out in a sense of a lifelong friendship, no matter what, I know you've heard the saying, you never lose, you either win or learn. And that is the truth. You've learned to be more resilient. You've learned that the world does not end if you start developing a relationship and it doesn't necessarily go anywhere. I think people are so open a lot of the times to dating and they look at it like, well, you have to go on dates and you have to do this. And if you're going to meet the man of your dreams, it is no different with friendships. If you want to be able to expand your circle or to have a good group of girlfriends, then it's the same thing. It's a numbers game. So you have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to be open to relationships and with the fact that not every single person will be a match. But if you keep going, at some point, it'll work itself out. So I would definitely say shift your perspective, put yourself out there, and just be open to any possibility. Get out of that comfort zone. That is one of the number one things that kind of plays a large role in our unhappiness the older we get. Don't get complacent, don't be fearful, and don't be afraid to just take a chance. So I guess that's really all I have to say about it. So this week, go out and spark a conversation with someone and see what happens.